All right, Scotty, you can go first.
I'm imagining an empty chair.
You're getting sleepy.
Not your chair.
Yeah, and the chair is empty that I'm sitting in. This is from what we've done last week to now. Is that what
Or just whatever, you know, any feedback, whatever, found out, get anything if you didn't.
I got lost in automation land with you know, surprisingly, go high level is the most difficult thing on the automation side, the API spectrum to get in to connect to. It is the most complicated effing thing. I've been spending over a day and a half just trying to figure out go high level. Yeah, it's that stupid, but you'll see what I'm talking about. And it's probably something simple that I have to go all the way around like you'd probably look at it and be like, well, why don't you just do this? Right? And be done.
Probably missing a comma.
Yeah, that's probably one little
It's like, oh, you spell go high level. Dang it.
Yeah, so my thought process was to where I'm going with the automation is having an automated like daily avatar of myself and have it very specific to it's okay. Like the messaging will be different ways of saying it's okay. It'll just be like quotes or saying something positive about eating shit and learning to love the taste kind of a thing. You know, I'm just something in that way. It might not be as abrasive, but the idea is if I can automate that and have just a 10-second thing, not something like a big long thing, but just a little message each day for people to be like, hey, look at the positive side of life in a little snippet. I think that will help the personal brand that I'm trying to. I say personal brand. To me, I don't want to I just want my personal brand to be who the fuck I am and what I want to do and and not in a way of a marketing an idea, but actually making the impact. So like for example, the message that I'm trying to get out there is that it is going to be. I got it.
No, you talk.
I needed an interruption here. Let's see. What's up, Jeff? Are you there? Did I?
10 seconds, 30 seconds.
Huh?
It takes a little bit of time.
There you go.
Okay, there you are. What's up, Jeff?
How's it going?
How's it going, man? We're just getting into so we're starting with me basically giving our feedback from the last week. So feel free to chime in whenever, but so my thing is I don't want to necessarily have a distinction between personal brand because in my mind it's like that's different from. I don't want it to be different from the impact I'm trying to make. So I guess where I'm trying to go with this is that if I can make the impact and that is the personal brand I'm trying to create is making an impact. And that's what I'm doing. That's, I think at the end of the day,
That's literally like what we're trying to do. Yeah.
right.
How are you going to help people the most? Let's figure that out.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so basically if I can do a little automated thing, because obviously, you know, we all get busy, but if I can create an automated message that just says, hey, it's going to be okay.
Well, I think for you, I mean, you're still kind of weren't 100% like clear on the messaging, right? So that's actually a big step if you think your messaging is going to be everything's going to be okay or it's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's actually a big step because that is your brand and how you're going to help people, right? So just by figuring that out, that's pretty huge. Yeah.
right? Because we talked about helping people overcome adversity, but there's so many different kinds of adversities, right? And so, but when you boil it all down, I think that message, when you boil it all down, is that everything is going to be okay. And like that quote, in the end, it'll all be okay. If it's not okay, it's not the end. And that gives us that little hope or inspiration to keep going and be positive no matter what situation we're faced with. So
That's my blood type. Be positive.
be positive.
And my mother. Right?
There was a lady I met at the last Riverside, Good Morning Riverside. Her son had autism, died when he was 11, became an organ donor, and through his donation of his organs, helped, I think, 5 people live, like his heart, his kidney, and all that. And so she's out there basically championing the organ donor idea. And her whole thing is be positive, because that was the blood type. So be positive. And I'm like, whoa, that's cool. Be positive, right? No matter what. And if she can have that attitude, because, oh my God, just imagine, losing. And I was in a situation where I thought I very well could have lost my kid, right? And then there are a lot of people that have lost their kids. My mother has lost, 2 of them. Anyway, so I think it's a good message, and it's something that I align with, like, deep. And my whole thing, like I've been saying, is be authentic, not only saying it out there, but I'm saying it to myself. So I just want to make sure that I fall in line with being authentic.
So an AI avatar of yourself. Authentic way to do it.
Maybe I need to rethink this.
Well, no, I think automation is great because it saves crap of time. But I think people want to see who you are, like your actual face.
I mean, I know we discovered last time that you don't like watching yourself. You don't like these scripted things, but the energy, like literally what you're transferring is energy, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like when you're saying these things, the energy that you're bringing is really the message, right? While you're, you could say like, oh, like you'll be fine. But you're making it believable so they can feel. Yeah. So that's like, I don't know if AI can do that.
It's the opposite of what I'm trying to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
in one form, it's automating it so I would be able to reach more people, but in the other side, it's not really me.
Like suggestion.
Absolutely.
What about going faceless route? Your voice and delivery can actually carry some of that emotion and passion, and you can use automation and AI tools to do the graphics.
Mm-hmm.
Because people are listening, they can hear you. Hey, he cares about it. Yeah. So you don't have to put your face to it.
Yeah. I'm not against putting, like, I don't have an issue with doing it in person. Like I could sit there and video. It's just the not doing it is what I'm afraid of. Whereas the automation helps that, but
well, I mean, if you dedicate 30 minutes in a week to do it, you can record probably 30 of them if they're 10 seconds long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then just figure out a way to just have it on a post,
That's a good idea.
Yeah. But no, but that's a new more than that, because now you know the message, how you're helping people, right? And it's in sync, because that's pretty much trajectory book. It's everything. It's like, hey, look at all these stories. They made it through it.
Yeah.
Too. Huh?
Are we cut off?
No, I think it was, I don't know. Can you guys see this?
The camera's zoomed in on just you and Pam, Jay and Pam.
Yeah.
But if I could make a suggestion, if you could attempt to try to talk to us instead of each other, because we're just standing out here out in the winds watching you guys have a meeting together, and we're like just looking in.
I mean, so at the beginning, we just talk about what we did. So we go through each person, and then we start talking. So yeah, we just got stuck on Scotty.
Yeah, I reframe it.
Yeah, and it's blurry too. Me and Jeff, we look fantastic.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, Jeff and I.
So what were your guys' goals?
Well, no, it's Pam is next. So the idea, Derek, is that we started with me, and then now it's Pam, And then after
No,
that,
that's I'm cool with that. It's just you guys as a group are in there and you're all looking at each other versus like taking the dynamic of the meeting and maybe looking into the camera every once in a while, acknowledging that there's other people besides those at the table.
You could have come here in person and been like the eyes also.
I don't know how to fix that, man.
Eyes are looking.
It's like when my wife gets mad at me at a big table full of people eating, and I turn my shoulder like this to talk to everybody down this way, and she's looking at the back of my head.
That's communicating to win right there.
That is.
Derek's whole thing.
That's good.
So what you're saying is when we communicate, we need to communicate with everyone, not just amongst
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, just an observation. Because again, it's like this crosstalk going on.
For sure.
Yeah.
So Pam,
You guys didn't even notice I was running around in my underwear and you had no idea.
I thought you were in your bikini.
They had my bikini bottoms.
no, we're expecting it, so we're good.
Yeah, exactly. So Pam, I
Yeah,
am.
Pam, you are.
Pam, I
So,
am.
how did last week go, or any
Um,
revelations? What did you do?
things-
There you go. That's a little better.
Revelations. Yeah. I'm just watching myself take
Yeah.
step by step. I'm just
What
everything's
about that?
different. Everything's so
It's still pretty zoomed in, Sam.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just feel like forget this. Like I'm just so tired. Like I just want to like say, but no, but I don't. So I do what's hard. So
It's weird how I did that. It was like fine before.
Yeah.
was it I opened up the
Okay.
trash can?
I'll just give it a little.
Yeah, I try to.
Yeah. Okay. So what did you do?
I just the police department. That was a really cool thing with my citizens.
Okay, there you go.
I made up appointments.
Well, I guess for your brand,
My brand.
since it's the brand.
Oh, yes, that's right. I did a lot of video coverage, but I haven't posted anything yet
That's
because I would like to edit. I like to have some editing. Yeah. I'd like to get more social media for my profile. I like to kind of do some more stuff there.
Yeah. No, I think you have a powerful message, trying to capture, because with these groups that you're meeting people that are kind of like, other women that are trying to be professional. And I think if you kind of embody that, then you can build a following for sure. And we'll put that plan together. I think that'll be cool.
I'm
Yours is
ready.
pretty straightforward. You go, I'll put mine into.
So I've been posting every single day for last 20 days, I think, 21 days. It started with one a day, but I think day 4 or 5, I started doing 2 a days. One is the main content, which is a short video of me just talking to the camera and when I'm driving safely, with a seatbelt on and my eyes on the road, And then the other one is some sort of a quote or inspiration that I feel that's relevant to my audience. I post it every morning at 6 a.m. And then my truck talk videos are being posted on every day at 7 p.m. TikTok hates me, so I'm done with TikTok. They unnecessarily, in my opinion, flag my posts being dangerous by labeling it as, hey, if you follow this advice, it may put yourself or others in harm. I was like, okay, we're done. So I'm done with TikTok. So until I have like thousands of following, then I'll reluctantly open it up again because, okay, now I can kind of do it again, right? But right now, when my goal is to be discovered and reach out to more audiences, my YouTube shorts have been performing decently. I only have 8 subscribers, but 7 out of 14 posts that I did last week had more than 1,000 views. So I'm kind of surprised. But at the same time, it kind of encourages me to keep at it.
Well, I'm in the process of setting up, basically like personal training and nutrition counseling and biohacking and all that. So it's called Ageless Strength and Wellness. So I'm in the process. Thus my interest in branding, since I'm a social media novice, is understating my ignorance.
That's right. You're the biohack dude.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, right up my alley, brother.
I remember everything.
Great presentation. That was, yeah, that was the most interesting one. Loved
Oh,
it.
that's great to hear. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember afterward we spoke a little bit and you said pretty much everything that I said you do.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know what I did start is I started taking the methylene blue.
Oh, yeah. How do you like it?
It is amazing. It's it's great. I love it. The amount of like it hyper warps my mind. Like the amount of clarity and energy that I get just from a droplet methylene blue. Yeah.
Hey,
That's
the one that you're taking, is that the one that you texted me? That one?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, it's been my mind just tunes right in
You take it every day?
every day.
How
Have it in the
about you-
morning. What's that?
Do you
I
take
don't take it daily, but I take it a few times a week.
A few times a week.
Yeah.
I started taking a full dropper. And then I've kind of backed off that a little bit and went more just kind of a half dropper like in the morning. Just because you know I do struggle a lot with my attention.
Mhm.
And I'm a squirrel. So
Yeah.
it doesn't take much. So I need something to just like really get my mind going so that I can just get deep into it and stay focused on it. And I've noticed that it's helped me a lot.
It's real good with sustained energy too. It's it lasts a lot longer than most nootropics. It's active and increasing ATP production throughout your body, like literally for about 12 hours.
Yeah. I do know. I definitely notice a difference. Like, and it doesn't take long. Whatever it is, crossing the brain barrier, the blood-brain barrier, like it does seem like within about 15, maybe 20 minutes, I noticed.
Mhm.
I can already tell a difference.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I like it. In fact, I saw Bobby Kennedy. There was a clip maybe a month and a half ago or so, and people on the internet saw what he was doing. He was on Air Force One, and he was putting methylene blue in a glass.
Yeah.
And when he was in the hearings, he popped a nicotine patch. It's like everybody's noticing he's all into this stuff.
Well, I mean, and as good as he looks, you can't go, no, that don't work.
Yeah,
Like,
what is
whatever
he?
he's doing for his
70,
age,
right?
working.
Isn't he like 70? And he's
Yeah,
like,
70 something.
yeah.
up there?
All right. Derek, let's what did you get? I know you're trying to upload that video still.
No, I got it. I was trying to upload it. I was trying to email and it wasn't working. And then I was trying to drop it into Google Drive. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot I can just plug my phone in and pull it out of the file.
See that
So
working already.
So I just did a quick video, true to form. I winged it, and which is fine because usually I can wing it and I can pull some things out, and then I can go to the things that I have written down or in text, and it'll allow me to modify and blend it and tighten it up. You know, the harder part for me is making it short and sweet. You know, making that minute clip, but I do have it. If you guys want to watch it, I can show it to you and you can critique it or throw darts at me or whatever you want.
For sure.
But that was what my goal was from 2 weeks ago, was to actually just start something. So I started it.
Nice.
Cool. Do you want to like do that? Take over the screen. It's a minute.
It's 2 minutes and 46 seconds.
I mean, you could send it in the send it in Telegram.
Just in
I'll
case.
comment on it. Yeah, and Jeff, if you want to join our Telegram, we're having so there's a couple of purposes for it. Is just to get ideas from each other, but also help each other engage in their posts. So if somebody posts something they want, some likes and comments, they post it in there and we help each other out, follow.
What is it under trajectory?
Yeah, I think maybe it'd be
Personal
So
branding.
maybe
Telegram and it's
Scotty,
personal brand.
you can invite me to it.
Okay. How do I
Yes.
invite?
You're the Telegram guy.
I'm automation, not.
You're the social guru, man.
All right. So yeah, it's some just kind of insights like Sam was talking about his YouTube. He didn't get that many subscribers, but he's getting a lot of views on shorts. And I did see that, like a lot of them like 1,000, 1,200, which is good. A lot of people don't think about it, but like just imagine a room full of 1,000 people. That's like a lot of people. You know, you get kind of jaded on social, like when you see the millions and like 10,000.
Yeah.
But I just want to point out, like, it doesn't take that much. Like, you know, I on some of my posts I put just like a little like, hey, if you want to work with me in some capacity, 15-minute Calendly, and like I'm getting bookings like all the time of people like signing up just to like talk or like want coaching or something. And it's not even, none of my posts have really gone off that big. So, you know, when you're dealing with something targeted, especially like, you know, it may not, you don't need like 1,000 clients, you know, you need a smaller amount. Like, as long as you're very targeted in your messaging, you can attract the right people. You don't need that many, you know what I mean, to get results.
That's why you're so busy.
Um, yeah, I'm in 15 minutes, so, but yeah. So one of the things, so going back to the shorts, so what I found is in YouTube is kind of hard to gain followers off shorts. It's unless there is a reason to follow. So when people post stuff and then it's like, hey, follow my journey, or like, hey, this is video 1 of 5, stuff like that, people will tend from shorts to follow, but most of the subscribers come from long form. So like a lot of times, but what's cool is that if you have a bunch of people that watch your shorts, occasionally if your long form is similar to the short video that they watch, it'll suggest that long form video in their feed. So that's kind of like the hack to do it, is if you get a couple of, you know, like for example, if you were to record, you know, they all have kind of like an over, like for you, Jeff, is pretty easy because you're talking about longevity and all your things have to do with longevity and things like that. Say you had a very viral short that on a specific type of longevity, and you had kind of on the back burner like a long form video. You could technically make the description and the title similar to the short, even though it may not, maybe it's, you're talking about methylene blue and this, but you're talking about something else. And that, I mean, as long as it's kind of similar, it'll start like showing that to the people that saw the short. So it's kind of like a hack to do it.
What duration tends to get the most views? Like, is there any kind of a guideline on, you know, if it's under a minute, it does better than if it's? Yeah.
So I've been experimenting with this last week. I was doing like ultra short videos. So the typical rule of thumb is around 30 seconds or less. Because the way the algorithm boosts you is basically how many people watched your video, but more importantly, how many people stayed and like how much time did they see it. So if you have like a minute video and people only watch like 10 seconds of it, then it's not a good sign that it sends the algorithm. So
And
that's
is that, yeah, forgive me. So is that something that when you're posting on social media, that there's like metrics that you get back about?
Yeah.
Let's say you put a 5-minute video out there, but like 90% of the views were in the first, you know, bailed out in 20 seconds. You know that?
Yeah, you know that. So TikTok's a little better at that, but YouTube is pretty good too. It'll tell you kind of like the average of like where people left off, like how many seconds was the average view time. So like my test, I did 5-second videos, but there's kind of like a gimmicky kind of way to do it where like you create this really short video and it's usually just like a photo on a loop, but then you write a huge long amount of text on there. So people have to stick around and read it. It might take them like 20 seconds to read, but since the video is only 5 seconds long, they watched it 4 times. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a way to hack the algorithm. So I tested it and it worked. It's interesting because that was kind of an Instagram thing, but I don't know, my Instagram account's kind of messed up, but it performed well on mostly on X, surprisingly, and YouTube. So YouTube actually, it worked really good because the video wasn't good. I just was doing it to test, but it got a lot more views on YouTube. And X is interesting because they have the algorithm is different than, or like their analytics is different than I thought. Like their impression numbers are different than the number of views now. So like when I looked at it, it said only like 500 people watched it. I was like, oh, okay, that's like average. But when I clicked into it, it showed a different number as far as how many people viewed it. It was like 3,000 or 4,000. So I was like, oh wow, there's like a different number. So that one compared to my other videos that weren't made to be that short 5-second video got way more views. And I could tell for sure because I did a call to action in a lot of the videos. And then when I launched those short ones, like people were signing up on my website, putting their email in. Like I saw a lot of them coming in. I was like, oh, what's making them come in? Because I saw that number and it didn't look like a lot, but when I clicked into it, it was a lot more people than I thought. So it does do something, that kind of method to get people to watch a bunch. But really, I've only like on X and YouTube so far, it's really it. But yeah, so I mean, since you're kind of new to joining, the main thing that we were trying to do in step one is solidify like what message or like who, like what's kind of our goal. And the easiest way that I thought to do it is like, how can I help people the most? So you're pretty far ahead because I think you spent all this time kind of figuring that out. Like now you know what your message is, who you're targeting, like what. Yeah. So that was kind of the first step and what we're kind of all going through. But the suggestion that I had was to create some sort of lead capture page. So it could be like a free report or something that you could give them. But the idea is just to capture like email so you can remarket to them. Because a lot of these social media now is a little different than it was like 10 years ago. Before, like if you built a following, you're pretty certain that your following would probably see more of your content. But now it's like even your followers don't see your content. Like a lot of the videos when I do analytics on it, it's like a small percentage of the followers and a lot of new. Like every single one's a lot of new people. The followers still help because that little group kind of tells the algorithm like, hey, like there's more people watching and things like that. So it's still important. But it's like if we were able to capture more emails, you get a lot more out of it business wise if you can retarget those interested people than just relying on the algorithm to show your following stuff.
Yeah. So, my, and I haven't thought a lot about this, but I think since my goal is not to get 1,000 clients, right?
Right.
I just can't do it because I'm going to be hands-on with everybody. But I do think there's a secondary goal of just building my social media presence so that it can become something greater with time.
Right.
And maybe I can monetize it,
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, so it's less about calls to action for me, at least in the social media side, because I guess I'm still learning it, and I don't want to reach any conclusions too early. But anyway, it's a little different than like if I'm trying to really scale a business, and I'm really not trying to scale a business.
Yeah,
in the beginning. So
for sure. But the thing is that like if you ever decide to monetize, it'll be 10 times easier if you had an email list of people, because really social media, all it is that people, and that's why we really want to focus on like who we are on social media, like what we're saying, because they're just trying to get to know you. And then if you align with what they're saying, then they want to take the next step. So the first step is like, oh, I really like what this guy is saying, I'm going to subscribe, right? And then, but then as they subscribe, it's like, I wish there was another step I could take, right? So the easiest thing is like, hey, give me your email. You know what I mean? So the thing is, even if you don't plan on doing something now, like having the email list will benefit you like so much down the road. Because the problem is I've worked with too many people where they never had anything to capture email, and then they just had a video blow up out of the blue, because you just never know when like something will go big. And like we have on our trajectory, we had like a video that got like 70,000 views, and like literally if you watch the video, like there's no reason this should get 70,000 views. You know what I mean? So like, but if you have something in place where they can, like, if they feel like they're connected and they have the ability to like drop their email or do something, you could have got a lot out of that one video that you hadn't, but without it, then it's kind of like well, was that a wasted opportunity or what? You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's the main thing. Right now, so I know, I don't know if Sam, you didn't put your landing page up yet, huh? Yeah.
No, the content is there. It's just a matter of putting it together in the form and landing page, just having the link ready. So link is ready. What I'm gonna put on the landing page is ready. My lead magnet, which is a PDF document, that's ready. It's just a matter of putting everything all connected together and to test it. Yeah. So I think by the observation of how some of the videos kind of, I was like, oh, I didn't know this video was gonna do well. I was like, this one I expected a lot, but it pretty much flopped. Like I got 30 views. Okay, fine. But this one was like, oh, I didn't even think about it, but now it's like 1,500 views. So okay, I better put something in place, like Jason said a couple of times, last meeting and the one before. So just in case people want to reach out to me or they want to work with me in some form, I'll put together pretty much like giving them the opportunity to get to know me, sort of a thing.
Yeah.
And once we have an email list, my eventual goal is, of course, to offer something for monetization. But my idea is, hey, monetization is pretty much exchange of values. I'm going to provide my audience something more valuable than whatever I'm going to ask from them. So, and having a means to distribute email list. Hey, special offer for people who are on my email list, or new video drop, and this one is kind of special, so check it out, that kind of thing. And then if some people happen to be in a local, hey, come to our, I don't know, if you're free on Wednesday night and happen to be in the Corona area, they can meet us there. There are multiple ways to utilize the email list. So having one is important, I think.
Yeah, it's well, for me, I think it's more of like an insurance policy, because like, if you're not 100% sure how you want to monetize now, because this is this thing, there's a lot of businesses that will say like, oh, we have like 10,000 followers, so it should be easy for us to like get some business out of it. So let's start something. And you're like, well, you like when you post something, you're only getting like 150 views. Like you're not getting all 10,000. So like you're going to have to pay money to advertise to your own people. You know what I mean? But if you have the email list, like you just send out whatever you want. You know what I mean? So it's just that, and then you're also weeding out, because a lot of people just click subscribe. Some people subscribe to like 1,000 things, 2,000 things, and some you don't know like how deep they're into it, right? But at least if they gave you your email, then you know that they're at least resonating with you enough to give their email. So then it's a much more targeted like audience,
I can see for Jeff that if he has an email list, I can see a lot of people, if once he starts doing content and then they hear him and that how he's tested things himself, that they would want to, like for me personally, I think I even asked you, where do you buy your peptides from? Right?
Yeah.
Because you have, because you're knowledgeable about that. And I feel like you would have a tremendous potential later on to be an affiliate. And if your message gets out there and you're an affiliate and you have, hey, if you want to buy this, click here, this is where I buy it from. You don't have to sell it. Hey, this all you got to do. Hey, this is where I buy it.
I mean, for him, it's simple because you already have that PowerPoint, right? So literally your email, I mean, you could just use AI and convert the PowerPoint to like a report and say like, hey, like the top 10, biohacking things that I've used. So it's literally like, hey, you want to know the top 10 things that I've done to help me? Download it here. And it literally could be the same exact thing, because there's a lot of value in that, So, it'd be pretty easy.
So it's like provide your email and you'll get this free report.
Exactly. That's all it is. You just get the free, be able to download my report.
Yeah, I mean, I subscribe to stuff like that, and I like it. I subscribe to a guy, Dr. Kevin Stock. He's a dentist, but the guy is like really great, like on nutrition and biohacks and all kinds of stuff. And he, he's got 2 levels. You can sign up and he sends you a Saturday. Every Saturday you get some email with a few subjects in it, and then you can sign up for the daily bite, he calls it, and it's just a daily, really short, punchy message. And but I enjoy it, and it's like it's lightweight enough that you're never going to not read it, because it's so concise and digestible. So I could definitely see doing something like that too.
For sure. Yeah, so I mean, for feedback for me too, another thing I realized. So it's kind of, I don't know if you saw that post. I kind of stole your idea with the truck talk,
The 43 minutes.
but I did a 43. It's like Sam's been doing very short. What is it, like maybe 30-second or 25 second? I just tried, like literally had to drop off, like pick up my mom and go to LA, and so it was like an hour drive. So literally just recorded myself talking for 40 minutes, and when I got there, literally just uploaded it to YouTube, like really right then and there. And I found out that I think, after the pandemic, there's not a huge like need for super produced like video when it comes to like self branding content. Because it got pretty much the same results or even better than just regular videos that I was posted. You know what I mean? It's not, so I literally
This was on YouTube.
just on YouTube. Yeah. So there's not a real excuse anymore for like not being able to put out content, because you could just literally just record yourself and just upload. But so it's, if that's holding you back, the production side, I don't know if it's even warranted. I'll do more tests on it. I'm gonna do some produced ones and then non-produced, and then just really see what the difference in like viewership is, because I'm thinking it's not as much as it used to be.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
there has been studies.
Mm.
It's negligible.
Yeah.
And people actually sometimes prefer less produced video because they are more relatable to them. Like if you pay a lot of money to hire like a small team to produce my content, like a cinematic lighting and Hollywood style, whatever. And I mean, yeah, they do okay. But then that versus same exact content with you holding the phone out, the difference is negligible. It's not, you can get a lot of return on investment, to actually produce it to a high quality one. The important thing is just like, make sure you're looking straight into the camera, so you're talking to the audience, and then you're just camera presence. That's a lot more important than the production quality of it.
What about consistency though?
Consistency depends on what you want to do. Like if you are, I mean, consistency is important, but if you are on a daily schedule like me, then I have to keep a daily schedule. But if you're posting like 3 times a week, then just keep it 3 times a week. So as long as you put it on a regular basis, because that's what that's what kind of algorithm kind of picks it up too. So if you have a like 2 months of posting nothing and then posting every day for 1 week and then another 2 months of blank, then it's not gonna pick up.
Yeah. Well, so piggybacking off that, there's certain types of, so like if you're producing like evergreen kind of content that's just more informative, like you're teaching people about stuff, I don't think a schedule is as important. Entertainment, people are like almost like a show, they're waiting for the drop of the new stuff. Or if it's like a journey update, like hey, I'm giving my weekly update, people are waiting for the update. But other than that, I don't think it's super important to be like on a 12 p.m. on Thursday every whatever, it doesn't have to be like that. But going back to what Sam said, the algorithm, the way it works is that when you post, they'll give you some, well, this is at least for shorts. So for long form video, it's a little more complicated, but I'll talk about shorts first. Shorts, basically they have a test audience that they'll send it to. Based on the results of the test audience, they'll show it to more people that they think would like your content. And then based on those results, they'll keep expanding. So that's why you'll see a lot of videos will have like 100 views or like 120. This is on YouTube. I think TikTok is about the same test number too. That means basically they gave you the test, but it didn't really pick up. When you see ones that are like 1,000, that means it picked up on the first enough for it to show to the second phase, but then the second phase are kind of like dropped off. So that's why it's real important to like understand the formatting. Like the first couple seconds is like the hook to make them watch, and how long is it so they watch the whole stuff, right? But the idea is that once it starts to understand your content, so if you have similar content, it knows like what group to keep sending the second group of tests to, right? That's like when we're doing the AI ones. since I do it daily, it knows who to send it to. Like it's pretty much guaranteed that it'll be like at least like 900 views on the AI one. And as we get more followers, it keeps creeping up. But the thing is that it'll know the target, but it's based on the last like few videos, like what that view was. So if you take it too big of a break, it's not gonna know if it's that same people, or those same people may not be watching. Like the things have changed. So like if you would put a video and it went viral, and then you put other stuff, those other stuff will definitely have way more views than if that video didn't go viral.
For what I'm trying to do, how important is YouTube versus the just the socials?
YouTube is the number one, I would say, for you.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So the way that it's kind of working out is that, well, what do you use normally when you say socials? What's the other one?
I mean, I have Facebook. I have Telegram. I use Telegram. In all of them, though, I don't post. I just lurk. So
Yeah.
I just
So
read.
what I found is the best for discovery is the short videos. So Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, TikTok. Depending on the type of business, if you have a very visual, stimulating business or something that caters to the masses, Instagram is very good. When it's more niche down, it's a little bit tougher. So actually yours, since it's like health and like it relates to a lot of people, Instagram may be pretty good. Again, my account's messed up, so I have to figure out something to try it on there. But that's kind of the general rule of thumb. YouTube is more for like, if people want to learn stuff, they go to YouTube. So like what you're doing is educating, right? So they basically say people build followings based on the other social platforms. They actually could monetize and create a business from YouTube. People will follow just to consume. People will go to YouTube and actually pull the trigger on stuff. The thing that's changing a little bit for me than historically is X is getting a little bit, like right now, as far as all the people that's filled out the form and actually put their information, X is number one for me. Even though like I don't know why. It's like I don't have the most engagement on there. I get more on YouTube, but more people are actually pulling the trigger on X to actually like leave the site, fill out something and do something. Usually it's YouTube. TikTok, I even tried buying like paying for the promotion just to see the numbers. Some of them went pretty good on its own and got thousands and thousands of views. It's like very small amount of, like almost nothing as far as people leaving the site and filling stuff out. People are very engaging on there. Like I can like make a friend on there. People will comment, I'll comment back. I can message them, they'll message me back, and then I could probably convert them to join. It's like, hey, download my thing. I'm telling you to do okay, but it's like automatically, it's not like good. It's like there's very low conversion. But X is doing really well, and YouTube is historically made for that. Yeah.
And then with all this, with all these different vehicles, how do you? I mean, if you're posting, let's say a few times a week, are you having to, like, is there a tool that will post it simultaneously to all the platforms?
Yeah. So at the beginning, because if you follow some of like the bigger names and stuff, they obviously have a team, and they don't even actually post the same content on all the platforms. You'll notice that they're different, because realistically, it is different type of content that attracts different things. Like you have to make things more visual on Instagram. You have to make things more personal on TikTok, and then like more informative on YouTube. So people would have different posts. But at the beginning, when you don't want to like do that much work, you could just use a tool. We use a tool for our accounts to just we use the same video and we just post it everywhere. And you just schedule it ahead of time. So like a lot of what I've tried to do is just like make it as easy as possible. So when I was posting a lot before, I would just shoot on one day, like maybe for an hour or two, and that it was enough for like 2 weeks worth of content. And then my editor would just do it and schedule it. But
You just changing your shirt or what?
you know, I actually at the beginning I did do that, but I just got lazy later. I just did it all the same. People don't care. You know, people don't care.
Where's the same clothes?
The reason is that right now, if you look at the analytics, it'll be like 10% of the people that watch it were people who watch some of your other stuff, and 90% is new. It's like on the short videos, it's always a new batch of people, which is good because now you're getting in front of more people. It's not always the same group, but then it's even more important to try to grab them, because that means that normally people aren't getting to see your content over and over and over again. You know what I mean? So yeah, there needs to be some sort of way to capture them. So I guess we'll go into this week or next plan.
Okay.
Sam, what's your plan?
Finish putting together the landing page with the link and form so I can start capturing email addresses. That's gonna be my primary goal this week.
I think I'm going to do more in-person meetings with women. That'll really grow my network. And
Yeah, we'll put a plan together because I think yours could be really big. We'll do something. Scotty?
I'll create a I'm gonna talk to ChatGPT and have it come up with a bunch of different ways on how I can say it'll be okay, whether it's quotes or anecdotes or anything like that, and then I'll actually start creating some content because I haven't done that. in a long
You know,
time.
it gets daunting if you like say like, hey, I'm gonna post every day, and then every day you gotta think of something.
Well, I like what I know because I've seen for the Go High level and how you have everything freaking just scheduled, right? So I can shoot a bunch of them like what you just said.
You get into the flow and it becomes easy. You can just spout it off. So it's not hard.
For me, it's not hard to do it. For me, it's hard
post it
to have the freaking time where I set aside because I get sidetracked in these different things.
It will be okay.
It'll be okay. Right.
It will be
Exactly.
okay.
So for me, it's not hard to do it. It's just hard to schedule the time. So, but if I schedule time and do a bunch of it, that helps me.
for sure. There.
I'm gonna look up an Amazon and get Sam a new hat, and that'll be my first order of business. No, what I'm gonna do is now that I've got my first, at least I've got my first rough draft. So I'm gonna go ahead and just dissect that a little bit, break it down on paper, add in some of the other elements that I have already gotten written down. And I believe what I'll go ahead and do is make 8 shorts, which are the steps in the communication process. And I think that I'll start with that first because everything else is layered under each one of those sections. So instead of say focusing on, your purpose and your direction and so forth, I'm just going to focus on the steps.
Okay.
So that would mean I would have 8 shorts.
Yeah. So share that video with us too, the full thing.
I already did. It's already sent on
Awesome.
Telegram.
Great.
And then I'll make sure that I actually don't go off the fly and have a little bit more of my content down in front of me and have a better idea of what I'm saying.
Cool. Jeff, are you gonna try to create some socials and do something this week?
Well, I was trying to hire some guys that know what they're doing. So I'm waiting on a plan. In the meantime, I've been writing content. I don't know how, I think once I have the website and I know what, that's, how it's structured and everything, I'll be able to tailor it a little bit better. But right now I'm writing the things that I think would be relevant to anybody that's looking into me.
Awesome.
One of the other things that I don't know if we've talked about, but the whole book thing. So from a personal branding standpoint, the trajectory book, you might want to consider that.
Yeah.
Part of it.
Yeah. I almost did, when you reached out before about that. And so I'll probably be game next time around.
Yeah. It's definitely something that's part of the whole reason that we're doing it,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just because one of the next phase is to get your message out there. You know what I mean? So it's easier to get your message out there when you can put best-selling author or something behind it, right? So
Yeah.
that's the whole point. So yeah, for me, so the plan, like, and I, it's kind of like I hear all you guys are kind of doing, and like at the beginning, I think it's good to post kind of like your main like message. So, like for me, the first like 4 or 5 videos is kind of like the main message, that like the idea of why I'm posting what I'm posting. But just kind of keep in mind that that kind of stuff probably won't get that many views. It's not, that's more for like when people like get to know you, like, oh, I want to see more of his stuff. Oh, this is what he's about, right? So the next phase is to create more value added type stuff, because at the end of the day, people are selfish. If they're getting something out of it, they're going to want to subscribe. They're going to want to consume more of your stuff. So my next phase is all kind of like posts that make people selfishly want to consume more, because they're going to get something out of each one. But then when they start getting those, the algorithm will feed my main content, and they'll be like, oh, okay, this is cool, and then they'll hear like the main message and stuff like that.
Okay. I wasn't sure, and I guess this big question. So I have obviously I have, because I have a Facebook and I have the Instagram, I have, identity already there. Is it better to just leverage the current identity, the current profile that you already have for this kind of thing, or should I be creating new stuff? Because I'm going to, obviously, with TikTok and any of the others, those will be brand new from scratch anyway.
That is a good question, because so a lot of people, like if you study a lot of the big guys that have a lot of following and the guys that have grown, when it's tough, because when you see their current type of posts, a lot of it seems like, oh, they're just posting their life, right? But at the end of the day, it's if you look at their like posts when they first started, especially ones that weren't famous before social media, it wasn't like that, because they focused more on their own message. And then as people got to know who they were, then people are interested in like their entire life, like, because at the beginning, if they don't know who you are, it's like, why, hey, I went to the market today, like, okay, whatever, right? But then like Tony Robbins says, hey, look what I saw at the market. They're like, oh, I like this guy, what does he have to say? What I mean? They know who he is, right? It's almost like your friends will care, but your friend, so it depends. For you, since you are targeting like a smaller in-person crowd, it probably would be better to continue off your existing, because your smaller in-person will start off with your warm market and your current connections, versus, hey, you're trying to go global and make this big thing. You know what I mean? So your core audience is probably, a lot of them are already there, or at least the people that they will refer to could be your audience. So I would suggest just piggybacking off what you had. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that's a good question, because if you're trying to go broad and you have a very distinct message, then sometimes it makes sense to start something new.
I think you should probably do a lead magnet too. Like, think of 5 ways of doing this, or 10 ways, and just create some kind of a thing. I think that would be easy. Both of them did really good ones, and I think that's something that you could do.
Yeah, I think if you really want, you could probably do it in 5 minutes with your PowerPoint. Like, literally just feed in that into like AI, just say, hey, make this into like a report, like the top 10 things, and then it'll just like organize it, instead of it looking like a presentation, more like a readable, consumable thing. I think that could be your lead magnet. I think that'd be pretty cool, especially for people who know you, because they were like, how does this guy like stay in such good shape? Like, these are the 10 things that I've been doing. They probably want to know anyway. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay. And is there since I have I got the business name, the DBA and everything set up, is there any way to sort of impose that onto my current profile in any way?
Yeah, for sure. You want to put the link to it on there.
Okay.
So yeah,
it's weird. I am so ignorant about this stuff. Like I don't even know how to post something. Like, I don't know anything. I wouldn't know how to, like, when it says, oh, see the link in my bio, I don't even know where to find that. Like, I'm really bad. Like, I really need like to sit down and have somebody show me, or a video or whatever. Yeah.
Awesome.
How to.
Jeff, where do you live again? I know it's close. You told me, I forgot.
You know where Dos Lagos is?
Yeah.
I'm just a couple miles south of Dos Lagos.
Where specifically?
Wild Rose Ranch,
Oh, what's that?
Wild Rose.
Oh, I lived in Wild Rose Ranch for a long time. I used to live right off of Nabe, or
Yeah, no,
Yeah, the
Nicholas.
the street we hate to say the name of.
Yeah.
Yes.
you're my neighbor.
They made Scotty move because he was a thorn.
Yeah, I'm a pain in the
No,
ass.
it's not. I'm not really.
Hey, Jeff, my suggestion is book a session with us and come in for a consultation, and then we'll help you out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
These guys owe me a plan
Yeah.
and pricing.
Yeah. We will.
Let's do it.
You have an ETA on that?
We'll talk about it today. So we'll put the whole. Now, I mean, now that we know kind of more like what you're trying to do, we can target it with that. Yeah.
I want to build social media, but I'm not trying to sell product, at scale. That's going to all be personal, hands-on.
I mean, the thing about social media is it's validation, because people will come across your stuff and they'll be like, well, let me do some research on this guy. And this day and age, research is like going to your YouTube or going to your Instagram and seeing what you're posting. You know what I mean? So that's just kind of how it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right.
Yeah. So I'll start creating some content, some ideas for posts. Yeah.
So one of the things we've done so much research with social media posting, and like when we first got, started this whole thing, Jason went down the freaking rabbit hole, like 7 miles deep, and looking at all
Probably
of these,
70.
yeah, maybe 70, yeah,
Probably.
all of these influencers and when they posted and what they posted and what their engagement was and how many likes they got and what the content, like crazy stuff. And then we created this whole social media credit score, almost, where you could compare it to, like, you want to be like Tony Robbins. It wasn't a credit score.
It was a social credit score.
Social media credit score.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Oh, hey.
it was kind
We
of
don't want to
social
join that, man.
social impact. Impact is a better word. Yeah. Social impact score. And so, but one of the things that came out of that for me is I thought Hermosi, you know who Hermosi is?
Yeah.
Alex Hermosi, you will find out. Look him up and you're gonna resonate with him a lot. But he would make posts in Twitter, and based on what engagement he got through Twitter, right? Because it's just a very succinct idea and he put out there. And then the most engagement that he would get from that, he would use that as a gauge to see what other content he was going to make. If it didn't get a bunch of engagement or likes, he didn't really bother with it. If he got a ton of engagement, then he'd say, oh shit. And then he'd make Instagram, YouTube, and all of that based on Twitter. So he would use that as a testing mechanism. And I think for you, that would probably be actually for me too, for all of us. I think that's not a bad idea, just something to consider.
Yeah. I mean, just one thing. It's Instagram is, I mean, not Instagram. X is not really the best for discovery. So it works a lot better if you have
People,
some
which I
following
don't.
on there. But there's probably ways we could do it to try to get at least some sort of gauge on it using X. But it's not. It makes more sense like with him, with a lot of,
because he's got
some
people.
followers. Yeah. But yeah. Well. Yeah. Any questions? Any final thoughts or anything? No. All right.
Really?
All right, guys.
Bye.
So yeah, we'll
See you later, alligator.
see you on the Telegram.